Hey, everybody.
Yo,
Welcome to the Beige
yo.
Brothers Sports Podcast, your new favorite sports podcast. I'm your co-host, TJ Banks, and I'm here with my boy, Dylan Bruton.
What's good with y'all? What's good with y'all? Yes, as you can see, the Beige Brothers, we're live in effect, live and direct, and we're here to deliver some great NBA topics, analysis, and just our own personal insight. We both grown up big fans of the NBA, both have a love for the game and want to share that passion and love. Been having a lot of really dope conversations while at work, so it's like, might as well hop on the podcast. Might as well make
Might as well get things started. But before we jump into the NBA, we're going to start off with the NCAA. We are at the beginning of April. You know, March Madness just wrapped up. The UConn's men's team won. Congratulations to them.
Yeah,
Four
shout
seed. A lot of brackets were busted with a bunch of Cinderella teams, including FAU. Fairleigh Dickinson beat Purdue. We know how it goes. March Madness is literally madness. But I want to focus on the women real quick.
Yeah,
It was the highest rated game in women's NCAA history. I think in women's sports or women's basketball history anyway.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the fanfare for that championship game was up there with the championship game of Magic and Bird back in '79. But this was like the women's version, you know what I'm saying? This time you had Angel Reese being the Magic, and you had Caitlin Clark playing the role of Bird. It was very dope though. So let's
That's a
hope that
spot on comparison.
I'm not look, I can't take full credit. I've seen a lot of people have been saying that one, but it really does fit when you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Just with the two contrasting play styles and attitudes, and just what sides of America kind of were tied in and invested.
Speaking of sides of America, we had the first lady trying to invite the first losing team to the White House. Talk about a participation award.
I've never in my life seen something like that. I was like, geez. So all these years of like, losing at AAU tournaments or whatnot, you mean to tell me like there was a chance for me to get an invite to the championship ceremony even after we lost?
It looks like you could have got a ribbon. Could have got a chance to meet the first family. If you were of the right persuasion.
Yeah, complexion for the right protection. It's fortunate though that is becoming like the bigger story than as opposed to just how great of a game that Angel Reese had and how dominating LSU was, because they controlled the game that whole time. It was close at first. It started out, but when the second half really hit, you just saw LSU switch into a whole nother gear. Their defense was amazing. They controlled the glass, and nobody could stop their ball movement.
Yeah. I mean, you let a team score 100 points on you in college in the championship, and you're supposedly one of the best teams in the country. I mean, the defense was lacking second half, or the offense was flowing with LSU. Either way, I think when it's a margin of victory by, I think it was 18 points. It was close to a 20-point margin of victory. It wasn't close at all.
No.
To suggest that, hey, the runners up should come too. No, keep that.
And look,
we weren't going to suggest that had they won. LSU would not have been invited had Iowa won, and we all know why.
Yeah, I will say, like, look, Caitlin Clark is a baller, and I'm really glad that she went out her way to say, look, I didn't have an issue with what Angel Reese did. This is, basketball gets competitive, and she should not be, getting scapegoated right now. So I salute that, because she's an amazing baller, and I think there always can be a healthy balance between a competitive rivalry on court, but a respect for one another off the court. And that's where I say, like, that Magic and Bird comparison can also apply there too. Like, on court, they were rivals. They were going at each other like it was no tomorrow, and that's what made the rivalry so intense, and it made it so interesting, and it made people get so invested into it. But they still had that respect for one another. Like, look, we might be adversaries on the court, but there's no reason why we can't respect each other's game and be cool off the court. And I think that's important for the sport in order for it to grow and to continue to have people, being invested into it, just to see that, it's a healthy line.
Yeah, I get that. And I think next year, they helped revive the livelihood of women's NCAA basketball, for sure. Most views ever. They've gotten more views than most NBA games. And it's insane.
That's true. That's true. The NBA has been having this problem with its ratings this year. So when I saw that stat, I was like, wow, that's quite the feat. But it just
Yeah.
goes to show you also just how much a good storyline plays into selling a great game of any sort. You know, you need to have a reason to want to watch this. Like, well, okay,
Yeah.
what is the why? What is the
And
why?
I think next year we're gonna get some more of this because you're still gonna have Titans like LSU and Iowa, and you're gonna have people coming for revenge like South Carolina and
I was just about to say
Paige
those
Buchers
girls in
is the
South
word on the
Carolina,
street is she's coming back next year.
you know,
Um,
South
coming
Carolina.
back from injury. So that was another championship level player whose time this season was cut short due to injury. But I think it's
Oh,
gonna be a nice feel of who's the best player in college basketball.
well, there's always going to be those. There's always going to be those top dogs, and I mean, we can't ever forget UConn. I mean, we're going to talk
You
about the
can't
men in a
you can't
second,
forget.
but in the women's game, you can't forget them because for my whole life, pretty much, they have been the team to beat recruiting capital. You know, if you want to be a top WNBA player, you're going to UConn most likely.
Yeah. Yeah. They're blue blood for a reason. Like
Yeah,
they produce championship caliber players, both collegiately and then professionally.
yeah.
Speaking of the difference between those, I've read a stat recently talking about, I believe, Caitlin from Iowa. They were asking if she should go pro or if she should try to continue in college because she has another year of eligibility. And I mean, for monetary monetary reasons, she should definitely stay in college. She's
Isn't
made
that
over $1
crazy?
million in her NIL deals alone
Isn't that
this
crazy
year,
to say?
and the highest WNBA salary is, I believe, 250,000. And
Yeah,
while that's nothing to scoff at, it's like, why would you turn down 4 times the money to do essentially the same exact thing
it's the same exact thing. Run it
on an
back.
even bigger stage in March?
Yeah, and that's the crazy part, and it just goes to show you the dynamic that's at hand. Of there needs to be um, there needs to be that same kind of invested interest into the pro game so they can get properly compensated and whatnot. Because it's like, in what other sport can you think of where you make more money as a collegiate athlete? Keyword playing in the NCAA of all sports leagues, right? You make more money as a collegiate athlete than you do as a pro. I don't think you can say that for any of the other sports, college football, college baseball, and definitely not the men's college basketball. So, yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to see, and hopefully that rivalry can continue, and maybe we get a part two. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. We're gonna switch gears a little bit now and go into the NBA. We're in the last week of the NBA season, regular season, and we got some regular season awards that are up for debate right now. Largely the MVP award. There are 3 major candidates for it. You got Joel Embiid out of Philly.
Yeah.
You got Nikola Jokic going for a third consecutive MVP out of Denver, and you got Greek Freak going for his third MVP out of Milwaukee. How do you feel about these candidates? Where would you rank them, and who do you think deserves it?
So to provide a little context, right? There's a joke at work that I'm this alleged Philadelphia 76ers fan.
Hey man,
I'm
no
not.
shade. I mean, if you're a
Look,
76ers
look,
fan, you're a 76ers fan.
I'm not. I bleed green. If I could get my Celtics hat, y'all would see. But I didn't want to, appear too biased on this first episode. But I personally believe wholeheartedly that it's got to be between Embiid or Giannis. That's not to shade Jokic. He's had an amazing, phenomenal year. He's a great player. But when you look at the impact on both ends, and then also that ability to stay the course throughout the season, I truly feel like this year has shown that both Giannis and Embiid, they're on another level with it. So it's between them. Now, if I could throw in my own personal choice, I would still put Jason Tatum in that race because for bulk of the season, he's been playing like a best player in the world caliber player. yes, he's had some inconsistencies and he's tailored off at certain points, but given the uncertainty this year of a brand new coach and coming off of, a finals that was closer than it looked, but also was a little bit more lopsided than it appeared too. He's played very well in response to the previous season. So it's gonna come between Giannis and Embiid, but I would throw JT in that combo as well. Perfect.
Okay. Fair points, fair points. I agree with what you're saying. For the most part. I guess a couple things is historically the MVP award has gone to like the best team's best player.
Absolutely.
And I mean, this season that's Giannis. Now I know he has missed some games due to a few injuries, whether it's a hand injury or a thigh injury. So he hasn't played as many games as he has historically played, which might take him out of the running. I don't know. You can debate that. Might keep him in the running.
He probably should be like he should be right in the
I would think so too. And I would argue that he should have gotten it one of the last 2 years as well.
Agreed.
But I do understand, hey, when a certain player has gotten back-to-backs, normally it's time for a new player if there's promise. There's argument that Joel Embiid should have won it last year. And there's a valid argument for that.
That was
my one knock on Joel Embiid, at least from this season. Well, historically, he hasn't played a whole slew of games like the other players. So that's why I would have never given it to him like before. But this season in particular, I think he had the opportunity to put a stamp on why he should be MVP in a head-to-head matchup against Jokic in the Denver Nuggets. And he just sat out. And I'm like, dude, like he has not played in Denver since 2019.
That's crazy.
He has not played a single game in Denver since 2019.
4 years. Wow. That's
4
crazy.
years. And this is the only other big man like that's running a five that is your head-to-head competition.
Your number one player.
Like to be the number one center. Like other than that, you got, I guess, Karl Anthony Towns. Who
that's so crazy. Cat was the first person I thought of.
Yeah, like that's the only other person that could be really listed. But maybe Bam Adebayo, but like there's still a gap in between. Like, at the top of the center pyramid, it's Joker, it's Embiid. It's that's it.
Those are the two guys.
And the chance to certified dominance, like, yo, I'm the MVP. I came in your house and I beat you head-to-head matchup. Like, I'm like, if he would have done that, I would have been like, give him the MVP. It's time. It's his time. Like, he's not atop the East, but he's close there.
Right.
Like, top three in the East. He beat the top team in the West. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. That definitely changes the nature of the argument for Embiid. I had to sadly witness him hang 52 against the Celtics a couple days ago. It was not fun. Yeah. But he's very frustrating because it's not an issue of talent. Not at all. It's the issue of their ability with him. And then with his motor sometimes with that. And I do agree though, that would have been the great opportunity for him to really stamp his claim of like, look, debates are over. Like you can argue all you want, but the play in the film shows you who is the one. So I think that would then play into Giannis's benefit of he's been in the big time primetime matchups, save for LA, one of the games. He's played every big caliber team this year and played well. And if they've lost, it wasn't because of him.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the hammer, right? Or hit the nail with the hammer right there. I think you were absolutely right there. That was my one knock on Embiid. I'm like, you beat him in Philly in a head-to-head matchup. This is a chance for revenge for him and a chance to say, hey, like I beat you twice now in the month of March. I beat you twice when it mattered most.
Right.
Like for home court advantage.
Yeah, season.
It's like I'm better than you. Like and he just didn't show up. And I was disappointed. I was disappointed about that.
That's a legitimate gripe. So that has to be considered. So who is your choice for DPOY?
Man, you threw something at me, man.
Yeah.
I like to hear your debate on your argument for DPOY right now. I
Well,
have to think on that real quick.
I've currently seen the most debates for it being between Jaren Jackson and Brooke Lopez. Now, personally,
Interesting.
I've watched Brooke Lopez a lot this year evolve into a very great defender. And he's always been a very underrated defender because that's never was the calling card of his game. But with his size and his ability to read kind of the court, he's a very intelligent defensive player. But this year, like, wow, okay, the impact is now being shown statistically. That being said, though, Jaren Jackson was drafted to be a defensive stopper. He's been that since day one. Now, I have my personal gripe about him averaging less than 6 boards as a 7-foot big man. I don't like that. I don't care what anyone says. But to be fair, I had that same gripe for Brooke Lopez because I'm like, dude, you're 7 foot and you average 6, 7 rebounds. Somebody like Rondo was averaging like 8. What's going on? But aside from that, on a defensive impact and being the anchor, Memphis, we could talk about their legitimacy as a real candidate or not. But defensively, Jaren has been the anchor all year. That has been the one area that they've not had issues and problems with. And his impact is felt in the paint. Players don't feel so brazen to go into the paint because they see Jaren there. My issue with Rudy Gobert winning all those DPOYs was like, okay, that's great, but nobody fears you. There's a reason why dudes is coming down the court and they're like, oh, barbecue chicken, I'm about to cook. You are about to get dunked on, Rudy. And players don't have that same kind of feeling towards Jaren. And he's a young guy. So I gotta shout out all the class of 17 guys, you know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that, if they make that decision, I'm going with Jaren. But
I think another name to throw in that mix is probably Bam Adebayo.
That's a good one.
He was doing a lot of work earlier in the season. I think it sometimes gets left off, but he's one that's a elite defender. But I actually worked the Memphis game last night, Memphis and New Orleans, and I got to see Jaren Jackson play like firsthand, and he definitely came in clutch on some last minute defensive plays, some getting rebounds. I know you said he don't really get a lot of rebounds, but he clutched a rebound and clutched 2 free throws to send him into overtime. So that was impressive to watch. I guess I would probably go with Jaren Jackson in this race for DPOY. There are some guards that I like to give props to. Like personally, I'm a big fan of Drew Holiday on the Bucks.
That's a good choice.
Who is an extremely talented defender and a very underrated offensive producer.
Absolutely. And it's fun watching.
He was key in there. He was key playing his role in the Bucks championship. And I remember when they got him for Eric Bledsoe, I was like, the Bucks just got it. Like the Bucks were already my favorite team. I was like, the Bucks just got they just elevated.
Yeah, no, that was.
He's so under the radar to be in the league for this is his 14th or 15th season.
It's got to be because he came in the league.
I think he came in around the same time Curry came
in. And Steph's year, so he came in. Yeah.
So that was something cool. I just wanted to throw a little props out there. So I guess I'll go defensive player of the year. I'll give it to you with Jaren Jackson on that one. Okay. But I did want to give my props to where I saw they were needed. But yeah, now that we've talked about a couple of season awards, what are your playoff predictions?
Well, I was about to say, hold up, there's still a few more season awards though. You got
all right. What you want to go with it?
Yeah, I'm about to say, man, we got the Rookie of the Year, Most Improved, Coach of the Year, 6 man. I don't know if you got your choices, but
I got a couple choices.
Okay, well, we can kick it to the rookies, to the young guys. Who you going?
Paolo Banchero, man. Okay. It's not even close.
Yeah. Look, I like Jaden Ivey a lot. I like Benedict Maturin, and I like Walker Kessler, who honestly, in a few years, is going to definitely be a DPOY candidate. He's been a really great defensive player.
I like Keegan Murray. Like he's helped elevate the Kings.
He's been great.
But I mean, I
It's
think
power.
it was either Joe Dumars or maybe it was Masai Ujiri. The Pistons were playing against the Magic, and he was like, "Yeah, I love Jaden Ivey. He's such a great part of our team." But Paolo was special. Like you got either the GM or head coach, someone who's making decisions in the Pistons organization. Like, yeah, Jaden Ivey's a great rookie for us, but Paolo's like a potentially generational talent.
Man,
And there's
hit
a
that
reason he went number one.
hit that Will Smith, like, how come you don't want me, man? Like, how you gonna say that about this player I'm playing against, and I'm your rookie?
Yeah.
But absolutely though. I mean, I'm a Duke fan. I watched Paolo last year and was very excited about what he brought to the game. And I felt like his style of play was going to be better suited for the pros. Give him the keys to a team, and he's shown. He's shown he was worthy of that number one pick. So yeah,
Yep.
okay. So that's no debate. Who would you be your pick for most improved?
Most improved is it Shy? It might be SGA. SGA
Yeah,
has taken a leap forward, man.
yeah,
Oklahoma City Thunder, point guard, shooting guard, combo guard, however you want to label him. Like he has taken a leap forward. 31 points per game. He's cooking on like all cylinders. Like
yeah.
he goes out there and you're like, oh man, this dude's been an all-star for a while. No, just first season.
This is first All Star. Yeah, yeah.
He
No,
is hooping.
I agree. Yeah, that was my choice as well. Like Shea is wow, amazing talent, and he plays the game at his own pace, which I love players like that because when you have that ability to be reliant on skill, that to me shows that you have a better chance of being a great player for a long time. Because look, I love athleticism and whatnot. Don't get it twisted, but you can see after a while the impact it can have, and the longevity is not always the same unless you're just an absolute, wonder kind freak of nature like LeBron. Like, but
Yeah.
that's a one player kind of exception thing. But someone like Shea, he's a 6'7" point guard with amazing handles, great defensive ability, but he picks his spots so well. And the crazy thing is, he's only getting better. Just imagine what he's going to be doing in 3-4 seasons from now when that Thunder core, who I will say, another rookie that they have that is being left out,
Chet.
Jalen Williams. Oh,
Oh,
well,
Jalen Williams too.
yeah. But
Right.
that's what I'm saying. Like they have a lot of nice young pieces. So, look out for the Thunder. They might not be the same level of notoriety as the KD Westbrook Harden Thunder, but they might end up being the better team, which is crazy to even say. But who knows? Who knows? Like when it's all said and done and put together, that's a very good team in the making.
Yeah, I think I saw Chet Holmgren actually say something about that. Say that they have the potential to be exactly as good, if not even better, than the KD Russ Harden. And I was like, that's a stretch, but we love to see the confidence.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I don't know if I want Chet to be the one saying that when you haven't even played an NBA.
yeah,
Yeah.
you love the confidence. He's also the guy that said, as he was being drafted, who was the best player in the NBA, and he was like, in 2 months, it's gonna be me. So you gotta love the
Okay,
confidence,
buddy.
maybe borderline arrogance. But hey,
Hey,
it is
no,
what
no,
it is.
but you gotta show and prove. You gotta back the play up with your talking.
Yeah,
So let's
I
see.
want to do a Jill Biden here and give a special mention to someone that I left out of the conversation, but I do think is should be in the conversation. Mikal Bridges.
Ooh,
He has had a phenomenal season, especially second half of the season since
oh,
getting traded.
for sure.
So I gave the award to Shea because for the whole year he's been cooking. Like there hasn't been like a real weak point from
No,
October, November till now.
no,
Like he's
and
got them in. If I'm not mistaken, they're in the play-in run. Uh,
yeah, yeah, they're
yeah,
they're
so
they're right. They're right in.
they're
They're
right in the mix
at
of playing like the
three to
8 or
seven.
9 seed,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
So
Uh, but I wanted to give a special shout out to Mikal Bridges because since he got traded, nobody expected Brooklyn to do anything. But he's been cooking.
he's been very competitive all year, and he has played like he's the number one guy when
Yeah.
nobody really envisioned that. I didn't envision that. I'm gonna say that. I
So I
was
do
not
think he'll
expecting.
win that award next year, the most improved,
I could see.
because it'll be like a whole season's worth of like, oh, all right, man, this dude's production jumped. His numbers are already going to be a little skewed this year because it was for like half a season.
Half a season, right?
But if he continues to play at this elite level for an entire year, it's gonna look ridiculous.
I could see. I'll throw one more name, and then we got to get the six man. De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox to me has taken a great leap because now back in college, I was a Zoe guy versus when it was Zoe or
I was
De'Aaron
actually
Fox.
a Fox guy.
You know what? Hey, look, hey.
He put 39 on him in the tournament.
I
Head-to-head
remember.
matchups.
I remember. He
He
won that
stepped
match
up.
head to head. But I'm a big fan of the pure point guard, so that I was rocking with Zoe. But I never once was like, oh, De'Aaron is not that guy. It's not nice. And I think this year, with his durability of playing, this is the most amount of games he's played, but they finally really built a competent system around him, and the pieces that they do have really started to elevate and emerge. He's been the perfect quarterback, the perfect one in the driver's seat, being the main engine. And all year, just like what Shea is like, he's been playing at a high level, not really been any tailing off or slowing down. I just think that when you look at the leap that Shea took, like Darren was on that pace before, but when you look at the leap that Shea took, like it wasn't as expected and also was at another level. So I think that's what's going to win out for Shea to win the award. But as far as just recognizing the impact, I do believe that De'Aaron has to be there.
Light the beam in Sacramento. They're one of the teams to beat out West.
That is true.
This is the best team that Sacramento has had since 2002.
Which is crazy.
This is insane.
21 years.
21 years.
No,
this is the first time that they've made the playoffs in 21 years. And I know Buddy Hield is somewhere kicking himself.
Well, I think they made the playoffs, I believe, in like 06.
Okay. Oh, my bad. But this is the best team since.
Yeah. Best team since that Western Conference Finals team in 02, that's still even still 06 is a minute away, as hard to believe as it is, but it's wild. Okay, so six man, who would be your six man choice?
Oh, six man. Let me think on this real quick. I'm trying to think who's coming off the bench, really giving that level of impact that I really want to see. Let me think on this real quick. I'm not entirely sure. Who do you have in your mix?
Okay, I'd have to go. You said Emmanuel Quickly?
I did not, but I understand that choice.
Oh, I heard Knicks. I don't know. My audio came in and out.
No, I said let me think on that real quick. But Emmanuel Quickly is solid right there.
I know my choice. I'd have to go with Malcolm Brogdon personally. I feel like what he brought to Boston was a veteran presence. He brought great scoring. He's brought great scoring all year, a great defender, half-court ball handler, and that was all stuff that we needed, especially off the bench. If we had a Malcolm Brogdon in that final series last year, I'm not saying that it would have guaranteed anything, but I'm liking the odds a lot better. So I feel like he's been a championship kind of level impact player for a while. He's always had that ability. And now that he's finally on that kind of team to really showcase that, I think he's been the clear-cut best six man of the year, personally.
Okay. So for mine, I'm actually going to go to New Orleans. And it's a little bit of I'm going with Trey Murphy. And he was off the bench early on as like a six man, but as injuries like prolonged, he kind of got moved into a starter role, and his role is kind of flux, but he's a very nice piece to a solid talent team. I got to see him like play in the summer league last year, and he was cooking. So when he got to the pros, I was like, man, he's got the length, he's got the athleticism, he's got the shot. Like, he's going to be a good piece to a team to back up or stand alongside Brandon Ingram. If Zion ever stays healthy, Zion, CJ McCollum. Like it was a nice fit. And I'm gonna throw Trey Murphy's name in there for the 6-man.
Okay, that's not a bad choice. All right. Who would be your coach of the year?
Coach of the year. Who took a leap forward this year? Oh, it's got to be the Kings. It's got to be the Kings coach.
Shout out to Mike Brown. That's not a bad choice. He won back in 08-09, that 66 Cavs win team. I'm again gonna show my own bias, but I gotta go with Joe Mazzulla because there was no look.
Okay.
there was no idea in how the switch from going from Ime Udoka, who had taken the Celtics to a finals in his first year as coach, to you bring in a new guy that has been on the staff. Not sure. No one knows what's going to happen. Whatever. But he's the youngest assistant coach in the league. Becomes the youngest head coach in the NBA, and he's done a masterful job keeping things copacetic. They can move in. He's got the Celtics in prime position to the finals run, and hopefully, for my sake at least, my own mental health, win it all. So I would pick Joe Mazzulla, but I'm not mad if Mike Brown gets it because I do believe that he has been doing a great job as a coach all year, and I think that he has truly shown that he's probably one of the most player-friendly coaches to play for, which is going to bring more guys to want to come to Sacramento. And I mean, people don't look at Sacramento as that viable option because, I mean, it's a pecking order. You got the Lakers, you got the Clippers, you got the Warriors, then you got the Kings.
Yeah.
So I think that he's just going to show that you want to play in a system that will allow you to get the best of your talents and to be you're not going to be handicapped. Come to death row. Come to Sacramento.
I mean, you're spitting right now, bro. Like no one at the beginning of the season expected the Kings to win their division. Like you said, there's a pecking order. You got Lakers and Warriors at the top. Then you got the Clippers. Like the Kings odds were so far. Like had you put like $10 on the Kings to win a division at the beginning of the season, you'd be sitting very happy right now because they won the division. They flat out won it.
Looking back, maybe I should have,
Yeah. Light the beam.
But I don't think, I only know a couple of Sacramento Kings fans on a personal level, and I don't even think they believed or saw this season to go out as it did. So
I only saw one that said, hey, at the beginning in Summer League, watching Keegan Murray, they were like, we're going to win 40 games this year. And I remember that clip went viral. And
40 games.
They did it.
Hey, they won more than that. So
yeah. So I mean, kudos to them. Do we have any more season awards to hand out? I know we got about 4 minutes left.
I
had to take the break.
I did not realize that happened. But I don't believe there is any other ones. But I mean, I was just thinking a player that I feel like is going to be in the 6-man conversation one day. I don't know if he's necessarily going to be in this role full time, but I do like Cam Thomas out of Brooklyn. I feel like he stepped up big after they traded, Kyrie and KD, and his ability as a instant offense kind of microwave scorer. People forget that a lot of great teams throughout the years had that kind of guy when, okay, the game is slowing down. This first unit is not doing their thing. We need somebody.
Vinny Johnson.
Yeah, but I was just about to say Vinny the microwave himself. That's where that moniker came from. And I even think someone like, if he doesn't end up becoming the starter, but someone like Benedict Mathurin has also shown that kind of caliber ability of being that kind of high level 6-man. And people fail to realize how important having a great 6-man is.
Yeah. Yeah, you need somebody for that second unit that can really drive things forward. Most of the
Absolutely.
time, people say like championships, like yeah, it's great to have good starters, but I mean, if your second unit come in and you can't depend on them at all, good luck. Good
Yeah.
luck, buddy.
Good luck.
Your
Good
starters
luck.
better be well conditioned.
They better be
They're gonna
ready
have a
for
long day.
cardio because they're gonna be out
They're
there.
gonna be like Jimmy Butler in the bubble. They are gonna be
Oh
gassed.
my God. Like, oh.
Yes.
No, no doubt. Shoot, I was just thinking too of another MIP candidate, and I don't know if he's going to be considered because he kind of was already last year, but Tyrese Halliburton. I would
I can
definitely
understand that.
I would definitely throw him in there because I mean, there's been times of the year where he's looked like a borderline MVP candidate. Just he brings a very unique skill set, but his mastery of the court, his vision, and the creativity that he plays with, and just also being able to play at his own pace. I think that that's something that you can't teach some of the skill sets that he has. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I personally am a big fan of bigger point guards because I think it prevents it. I mean, not prevents, it provides such a defensive mismatch because you kind of don't, you can't put a bigger guy on them because they're too gonna be too fast.
Yeah.
Put a smaller guy, he's too big, he's gonna overpower him. So I definitely think that he's another person who should be in that running if he qualifies.
Okay. Okay. I'm not mad at the hot take right there. He's a good player. I know we got less than a minute left, so we're gonna go ahead and end it right here. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Beige Brothers debut podcast where we talk all things hoops talk. Dylan, man, thanks for being on this with me, and let's continue to move forward. You're gonna have to tune in next episode to see what we got next. We got the 20-year anniversary of the '03 draft. We got a new draft monster coming in with Victor Wembanyama. And we got a few other things to talk about as far as teams putting new faces to new jersey numbers, like Nikola Jokic over Melo, Greek Freak over Ray Allen. We're going to dive deep. Tune
Yeah,
in
we
next time.
have a talk.
All
For
right.
sure. For sure. It's been an honor, and I'm looking forward to more in the future. We got more content on the way. The Beige Brothers, said it before, live and direct, in full effect.
All right, man.